Really quick before we get into this video, I just want to say you currently have 3 days left to buy a Team Hood shirt. If you want to get one, you should definitely do it now. Link is on screen and in the description. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were the last 3DS Pokemon games. So for the first time ever, a main series Pokemon game will be playable on a home console. That home console of course being the Nintendo Switch. The release of the Switch Pokemon game, according to Nintendo's listings, is still scheduled for 2018 or later. So I figured since I've done this for the past few games that I should continue the trend and we'll go over 10 features I'd like to see in these new games. Of course there'll be some repeats from previous videos, but I did my best to keep it at the minimum. Before we get into the list, let's go over some honorable mentions. These are things that obviously I would like to see, but they are features that everyone wants. So I didn't think it was necessary for them to make it onto the list. But I know if I didn't at least briefly mention the existence of some of these features, all hell would break loose in the comments. So here we go. Honorable mentions. Character customization, Pokemon following you, no shiny locked legendary Pokemon, and an option to skip cutscenes. All those features are pretty much self-explanatory, and including them on my list would be a waste of a space, in my opinion. Anyways, let's get into number 10. And at number 10 we have to make event Pokemon cooler. So Pokemon for the past few years have been giving away cool, unique Pokemon through events. The thing is though, the events aren't very eventful. Most of the time, you'll just type in a password, a guy in the Pokemon Center will show up and he'll just hand you the Pokemon. Or there'll be like in the Diancie event, there'll be like a little bit of dialogue of a guy asking you for the Diancie, and then you're like, no, it's mine. And then that's it, you just get to keep the Diancie. One thing I think they could do for Pokemon on the Switch is they can still give you these events, you know, to get specific legendary Pokemon or whatever it is, but have you work for it. Don't just let a guy in the Pokemon Center hand it to me. I want to go out on a quest and capture this Pokemon. They've already done something like this with the Manaphy event in Pokemon Ranger. Although that wasn't an event you downloaded, I believe. I think that's just an event that sort of came with the game once you beat it. But something like that. One thing that's lacking in Pokemon games all the time is the aftergame. Most of the time the aftergame is very repetitive and boring. So I think adding like DLC events where you go out and capture specific Pokemon, or just doesn't even have to be capturing Pokemon. It can be, you know, a lot of different things like taking on an evil team. I think that would be dope. And I think Pokemon Switch is the perfect time to start doing that. Also, quickly, before we end this entry, want to add a prediction. How much do you guys want to bet once Pokemon on the Switch comes out, they're going to start selling amiibos? And if you tap that amiibo, you get the Pokemon on the amiibo. Like say they wanted to give out like an event Pikachu. They sell a Pikachu amiibo, and if you tap it on your Switch, you're gifted a specific Pikachu with a specific moveset or whatever. I think that would be cool. I'm not against it, but I still want the event thing I mentioned earlier. Coming in at number 9 is different forms of Pokemon. I don't specifically mean Alolan forms, however I did love those and I would like to see more forms like that. I just mean I would like to see more differences in Pokemon. Like currently we have the male, the female, and then obviously the shiny male and the shiny female difference. But that's sort of it. Specific Pokemon like Gastrodon have their East and West form, but I want more. As you guys have seen probably in the Pokemon anime, Ash's Charizard is really short compared to other Charizards, and I kinda just want to see that in game. I don't know how they would determine it. Perhaps kinda like how they determine hidden powers. Depending on which IVs the Pokemon has, it has a specific hidden power. They could have it so depending on which IVs the Pokemon has, it has a specific marking or a specific height difference. I don't know. But I would love to see Pokemon come in all different shapes and sizes, even if it's just slight differences. I know it's unrealistic to have something as complicated as Spinda, where like there's like a million different variations or whatever, but I think it would be neat to have like just a few different forms for each Pokemon, just so not every single Pokemon looks the same. I think it would make having Pokemon a lot more personal. I know that I would love it. Maybe I'm just asking for too much. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep this short, but coming in at number 8 is a proper free-for-all mode. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that there might be some repeats from previous videos, but this is still something I'm very passionate about. For any new viewers here, I hear you saying, but they added the Battle Royale mode in Pokemon Sun and Moon. That's not the same as a free-for-all. Battle Royale mode is perfect except from one small rule, and if they change that one small rule, we have our free-for-all mode. Battle Royale makes it so once one person has lost all of their Pokemon, the battle ends. And they also determine the winner by how many Pokemon they've taken out and how many Pokemon they have left, rather than whoever's the last man standing, so they should also get rid of that rule. Anyways, the thing that bugs me about this so much is that my first mindset was, oh, they probably just end the battle after one person loses all of their Pokemon, so that person doesn't rage quit and cause the whole battle to end. But no, apparently in Battle Royales, if someone DCs, a bot fills in for them. Like, are you kidding me? I didn't know they were capable of doing that, but the fact that they are just means we're even more capable of having a free-for-all mode, where once someone loses all their Pokemon, they can DC and the battle will still be fine. We don't have to worry about someone rage quitting, and if someone, accidentally DCs before they lose all their Pokemon, the battle doesn't just end, we can keep going, and that would be so useful for recording videos. I can't even count how many times Duncan and I have had to recreate battles just to get back to the point we were at before it DC'd. This update would make our lives so much easier. Please Pokemon Switch, bless us with this amazing feature. Coming in at number 7 is something I know a lot of you guys are going to agree with me on. I would love for them to add a cancel option when it comes to making your moves in Pokemon. More so for online. Anybody watching that does competitive battling will tell you how useful the cancel option is on Showdown. I can't even begin to think about how many times I've made a move and then realized the literal second I pressed that move that I should have done something else. Now, if I had a cancel option to go back and change the move, it would help a lot. It would be very convenient. They don't even have to give you long to cancel your move. They can just give you like up to 3 seconds or something. I think that's fair. It would also help with misclicks. Can't tell you how many times I've misclicked and lost the entire match because of it. But I doubt they would ever add something like this to the main games. But, Game Freak, if you're listening, add a cancel option. It would be very convenient. Taking the number 6 spot is something I've actually spoke about before, and that's an item to evolve trade evolution Pokemon. I know the whole purpose of Pokemon is to catch, battle, trade, and I know it's easier than ever now to trade Pokemon and get them to evolve with the online features and stuff. But that also does lead to quite a few people getting scammed. I've had plenty of viewers tell me their Pokemon has been stolen from them. They would trade with a stranger to get them to evolve their Machoke into a Machamp, and the stranger would just disconnect after receiving the Machamp. It's pretty lame. Obviously your argument to that could be oh, don't get a stranger to do it, but what if that person has no friends that plays Pokemon? I just believe there should be a way to get Pokemon like Machamp without having to interact with another human if you don't have any other humans to interact with. This entry is definitely a little personal to me. When I was younger, I was the kid that ran around using Graveler, Haunter, and Machoke because I didn't have any friends to trade with, and it felt bad. Doubtful this is something that'll happen, but it'd be nice to have an alternative option. So at the 5th spot, I'm hoping we can get a new Eeveelution with these Switch games. I'm very doubtful with a lot of things on this list, but I figured I'd share this anyway. Ever since the release of Sylveon, I was hoping and praying that Generation 7 would bring us Sylveon's counterpart, whether it be a Dragon, Poison, or Steel type. All of that sounds badass to me, and I'm still hopeful to see a Dragon Eeveelution. I think that's the most realistic. The only thing holding me back from being more enthusiastic about it is that I think if they were going to introduce a Dragon type Eeveelution, they would have done it already. Sylveon was their main fairy type for a while, and to show off how powerful fairy types are and show off the new type, you figured they would have added a Dragon type Eeveelution alongside it just so, Sylveon's the stronger of the two. But they didn't. So all I can do is sit here and hope. Taking the number 4 spot again is a bit of a generic one, but I would love to see some new type combinations. I think this one for me is mainly coming because I feel like they missed out on a few type combinations that could have been really cool and just gave them type combinations that already existed. I still can't believe this is his name, but Stakataka. I think he definitely could have had a better type combination than Rock Steel. He's from another dimension, give him something weird and wacky. Solgaleo was definitely a bit disappointing when they revealed he was a Psychic Steel type, because we already have Metagross and Jirachi, two very strong Psychic Steel types as it is. And I know there's scientific reasoning behind it, but I just can't help but feel it's a bit boring. I know this type combination is very contradictory, but I would love to see an Ice-Fire type. In the comments, let me know a type combination you would like to see. Make sure it's one that doesn't already exist, because it kind of defeats the point if it does exist already. Coming in at number 3 is that I really don't want the focus of this game to be Z moves. Now I am very doubtful that it will be Z moves. I'm sure the Pokemon Company are going to find another gimmick to focus on, just like how they had Mega Evolution in Generation 6. But then again, there also was that rumor, I don't know how true it is, but there was a rumor saying that you're going to have to use motion controls to use Z moves now or something. I just really don't want that. So for number 3, the feature I would like to see would be for Z moves to not be the main focus. Instead, make it some other gimmick you have up your sleeve. Thank you. Coming in at number 2 is something I have spoke about in another video, but I still think it's a very good feature and I'm still gonna keep talking about it until it happens. I would like them to introduce a Gif Pokemon feature. So you know how in Pokemon games there's random NPCs that hand you Pokemon, like in Pokemon Gold, there's that guy that gives you his Shuckle to look after, but you end up keeping it anyway. Like that, I'd like the ability to give my friends Pokemon. It could be like the GTS feature, kind of, where like, I just deposit it to them, so whenever they check their guest list or whatever, they see that they've received a Pokemon, then they click on that and it's like, oh wow, you received this Pokemon from this guy. Accept, and you say yes, and then the Pokemon gets put in their PC, and I don't know, I think that could be pretty dope. You know, you could surprise your friend with a shiny Pokemon for their birthday or something. The games don't seem to think it's unethical to just give Pokemon away, so why are we, the humans, limited to trading when robots in the game can just hand you Pokemon whenever they want? I just want to give Pokemon to my friends. Please. And finally at number 1, a lot of you guys can probably agree with me on this as well. I would love them to make the models a lot more lively. Give them more personality, make them more colorful. I personally like sprites more, but I don't think they're ever gonna go back to using sprites for Pokemon games. But the models we have right now are just way too dull and they've got no personality, they just stand there until they make an attack. At least with sprites, when the Pokemon were just standing there still, they had a really cool stance going on. Like, if you look at Arcanine, Arcanine is the main example I use for this because Arcanine used to look so cool. Now he's just really dull and lame. I believe this is something they're definitely capable of, and I think 3D Pokemon on the Switch is going to look amazing. I just hope they brighten up the models a bit, rather than just re-importing the ones they've already used for the past 4 games. And there you have it. 10 features I would like to see for Pokemon on the Switch. This video was just a big stab in the dark since we don't really have any information other than there's gonna be a Pokemon game on the Switch. But I figured I'd share with you guys some things that I think could improve Pokemon games, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Pokemon have been making these games for 20 plus years, so they're the professionals, and I'm not saying I can do their job better than they can, but sometimes adding a little feature here and there, like say a cancel button, can make a world of a difference. It took them to Generation 7 to give you the option to swap out a party Pokemon with the Pokemon in your box after capturing it. It used to just automatically go to your box and you'd have to fly to a PC and take it out, so I definitely think there's still room for improvement when it comes to Pokemon games, but I already know whatever they come up with, I'm gonna love it regardless. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.